Hi developers, welcome back to the series of reactjs developer interview questions and solutions. This is fifth video of this series. If you haven't watched my previous four videos, I have kept it in a separate playlist called reactjs developer interview questions. I keep the link of that playlist in the description, or I'll put it in the cards that is on top right corner of this video. And yeah, please go ahead and check those videos. Those are also interesting. And in this video, we're going to discuss an interesting question to develop a folder structure as a separate component in React. This question is asked in Microsoft company, which I've attended like recently for a client interview. So the panel gave me this kind of folder structure and like first of all, I have to create this folder structure and then I'll have to implement the expansion and collapse functionality of each folder click or subfolder click, and then I'll also have to show the breadcrumbs of current selected directory, right? Just like that is shown here. So when I click on components folder or subfolder, I'll have to show this one, like this breadcrumb here, right? So let's start with the creation of the folder structure here. So for that, we'll have to have one component. I'll create a component inside components folder, components, new file. I'll call it as folder.jsx const folder export default folder, return div. Inside we're going to show folder name, and then there is subfolders inside that, right? We'll render this here, folder, right? Folder, is it imported? Yeah. It is imported. Let's see. Yep, they are center aligned. I think it's because of CSS. Let's remove this one. Right, now what we'll do is we'll have to have some data, right? Like we need to have a root folder with the name, and then there are subfolders with some names, and then there is files inside those subfolders with some names. So every file or every folder will have one property, right? Like that's the name property is there, and there is current directory of each file or folder that we have. So for that, we're gonna take one JSON file. I'll create one JSON file here. File, let's say data.json, right? So I'll create one JSON, start one JSON, and have a key name, key with the title as name, and first folder name is what? Root folder, right? React folder structure is the root folder name, and inside that we'll have subfolders, right? Subfolders, and I'm assuming that each folder will have multiple subfolders, whether if it has one or multiple. I'm gonna take an array only here. If it has only one single subfolder, then this array will have only one element. If it has multiple, then this will have like as many number of elements as of the subfolder numbers. So first subfolder is what? Public, right? Public. So, and again, like each subfolder will have its own object, just like we have an object for the whole folder that we have. For each folder, we're going to create one object here, and the structure would be same. Each folder will have a key called name, and in this case the name is public, and public will have I think again public is a folder, and inside that we'll be having files. So this public folder will have some subfolders. I call subfolders only. Again, subfolders will be an array, and inside that we'll be having multiple files or folders. For now it is like what is the name? Folders.json. And there won't be any subfolders because this is a file, right? So I'm gonna close it without taking any subfolders inside this object. Name, what is that? Index.html. Yeah, index.html. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll just create, like we can create all the subfolders and folders here like manually, but I don't want to do that. I'll take help of ChatGPT. So I went ahead and already created all the required folders with the help of ChatGPT. I'll just paste it inside this. Yeah, now we have got the folders and subfolders and all the names and their files and their names also. Now we have the enough data, and we're gonna have to pass the data to this component, right? So this component will take one prop which is called data, and the prop value is data only. I'll import the data from dot/public/data.json. Yep. Now we'll have to receive the prop inside this component, right? Yep. So if you observe, this data is a JSON file which will be having name as a direct key, right? Which will be holding the value as the folder name. So inside this folder, I'm gonna display the name of the folder. For now, I'll just say data.name. Yeah. Let's see if it is showing here. Yeah. React folder structure and subfolders is hard coded. We'll just remove it and then we'll replace everything with the folders like subfolders we have. What we'll do is, so subfolders is an array, right? We're gonna have to do the mapping here. Like you are gonna have to use the .map function. So data.subfolders.map. I'll call it as subfolder, comma, index. So there is a div. I'll take class name as subfolder itself. And I'll display the subfolder.name. So if you observe, there is a folder which has name key, and inside that there is, and inside that along with the name key we have subfolders key, and inside the value of that subfolders key is again is an array which will be having the same structure as of the parent folder structure, whether if it is a file or if it is a folder. Like only difference is if it is a file we won't be having the subfolders key, and if it is a folder or a subfolder then we'll be having the subfolders key. So what we'll do is we'll just if it exists, like subfolders key exists, then only we'll display the name, right? So for now I think it will work here. Let's see the UI. Right, this is now displaying four things. If you observe the question, we have the root folder, and then there is public. We're seeing public here, and then there is src, and src is the second subfolder of the root folder, and there is package.json is the last one, right? Whichever is the immediate subfolders of this root folder are visible here. So how to deal with this nested subfolders, right? So if you observe the data structure, there is a pattern, like there is name, subfolders, and inside the subfolders there is name again, subfolders again, name again, right? So we can use the recursion here. Instead of displaying the subfolder name, if you observe this component, right, we have already uh, an element which is displaying the name of that folder from the data that we are passing. So what we'll do is we'll just call the same component here, folder. So we're calling folder component inside folder component. So we're doing recursion, and this folder component takes one prop, right, data, and we just pass sub folder as data. That's it. I think we'll see what happens. The what is it? What does it say? Yeah. So this is where okay, reading properties of undefined. Okay, map function does not exist on subfolders, which means okay, yeah. So if you observe this one, right, this has names, but this has name, but there is no subfolders key. So we're going to have to handle that condition. What I'll do is I'll just say data dot if it exists, if the subfolders exist, I'll do conditional running. If it exists, then only do the condition. I mean, do the mapping and display the data. Let's see. Yeah, great, it is working. Now everything is in single line. We'll have to have some margin. What we'll do is we'll just do some styling quickly. I'll create one file called folder.css, and inside that, what is the class name that we have kept here? Subfolder, right? Class name subfolder margin not bottom, left 1M or something. Let's see. Okay, with I think we will have to use that CSS inside this component. Import dot slash folder dot CSS, right? Yep, the folder structure is fine. It's looking fine. Let me add some icons like folder icons and text like file icons. If it has subfolders, which means it is a folder, so we'll be having one folder icon here. If it is subfolder dot subfolders, if data has subfolders, then we'll show. If then it is a file, right? Otherwise, sorry, then it is a folder. Otherwise, it is a file. Let me show you the file icon here, and then there is folder icon here, right? Save. Let's see. Preview. Right. Wherever we're having folders, then we're showing the folder icons. Wherever we're having the files, we're showing the file icons. So this is the first part of the question. Second part is to have that expand and collapse functionality, right? We'll take one state variable, use state variable. I'll say is expand, set is expand, use state, imported from React, false. Initially it will be false, and whenever there is a click happens on that folder, on a folder or a subfolder, this expansion and collapsing will happen, right? I'll take one function handle expand. Okay. Oh, set expand, set is expand to whatever the previous value is there, we'll just do the opposite. And this function will be triggered when we click on any folder or a subfolder or a file. If it is a file, then there won't be anything happening because we don't have subfolders to show inside that. Let's see. Right. Okay. So clicking might be working, but we're not handling the expansion state of each subfolder, right? Each subfolder that we have. So we have one condition, and let's have one more condition, is expanded. If it is expanded, then only show the folder. If it is not expanded, then don't show the folder. Yeah, initially it is the, yeah, clicking it will open the subfolders, right? Everything is working. Collapsing is also working fine. Great. Yep. Let's do the styling a little bit better. Cursor pointer, right? Dot subfolder. Control C, Control V. Okay, no problem. I'm just using the same class name, and there is one more margin happened. That's okay. I think everything is working as expected. Now, one thing is, like the second part of the uh, question is also completed now. The third part is, what was the third one? I forgot. Yep, create the breadcrumbs. We need to create the breadcrumbs of current selected directory that we have. So I'll just create one component. I'll call it as breadcrumbs only. Breadcrumbs.jsx const breadcrumbs. Export default breadcrumbs. Return div p tag some breadcrumbs, right? If you don't know the breadcrumbs, like I've already explained it here, I'll just say take the same thing and then put it here. Errors, errors, errors. Instead of taking the greater than symbol or angular brackets, we'll just take slash. Typical Microsoft breadcrumbs styling, right? We'll have to display this component breadcrumbs. I'll display it here only. Save. Let's see. Yep, we're seeing it. Just we'll have to implement the selection part. Like when I have selected src, this should only select till src. This should only show till src. When I've selected app.jsx, it will show this root folder src and then this app.jsx. So that's what we'll have to show. So to before that, we'll have to maintain the state, right? Like whenever there is a click happened on a folder or a subfolder or a file, we'll have to get that directory, like where the directory exactly is selected. So for that, we need to have we need to keep track of the path of that nested directory that we are rendering. So what we'll do is we'll just take one state variable. I'll call it as breadcrumb path or something. Set breadcrumb, set bc path. That's funny. Use state. Is it imported? Yep. So initially, let's keep it as array, right? And initially it will be what? Root directory, which is React folder structure. Initially it is React folder structure, and we'll be sending breadcrumbs path to this breadcrumb component that we have created as a prop, and inside that we'll have to handle the prop. So this is bc path is a array, right? It's an array of strings, and we'll have to render this array of strings by dividing slash in between. So what we'll do is we'll just do the mapping for rendering the elements. BC path dot map. I'll say item comma index. So we just have to render the item. So I'll take span item and there is slash again. So let's see what is showing in the UI. Yep, that's fine. Now clicking, we need to handle the on clicks, right? So what we'll do is we'll do the setters. We'll send the set BC path as a prop to the folder component that we have created, and inside that we'll have to handle the prop that we have sent right now. Okay, and remember we're doing recursion and we're calling, which means like we're calling the folder component inside folder component. Now we'll have to do the we'll have to pass the same prop into that subfolder that we are rendering, right? Otherwise it will create discrepancies. A lot of errors will be happening. So yep, that is it. So whenever we click on something, we need to set the path, current directory of that selected folder or file or subfolder, right? So we need to have the track of the current directory while rendering itself. What we'll do is here I'll just say I'll take one prop current path. So at the start it will be React folder structure, like which is the root folder itself, and inside, so we are passing one more prop. Oh my god, let's see where it goes. Current path, and then there's no comma. So here is the trick, guys. So we're rendering one folder and then there is subfolder, and that subfolder will be having the current directory that will be including its parents, like all the parents directories, right? Like grandparents also. So if you observe this current path, this is the parent directory which will be including all the what I'll say. So this is supposed to be an array. Sorry, this is supposed to be an array. So we're giving directly a value inside this array because we're rendering for the first time here. So this is the like topmost folder, and this will have only like the current path is only this one. But when we go to subfolders or inside subfolders, then the path will keep on adding, right? Whatever the grandparent that we have, and then there is parent that will be appended to this array, and then there is when the child will be rendered, and all the parents paths will be included in this array, and the current child path also will be there. So current path, whatever we have as current path, comma data dot name, right? Or I think it should be what, subfolder dot name, or I think it should be data dot name because that should be the prop name, right? That's okay. Data dot name. No, I think it should be subfolder name. Let's see. Let's take subfolder name and see what happens. Now, when we click the expand and collapse, right? Like we're indirectly like doing some selection on that path or directory. We'll just do set BC path to whatever we are selecting, like whatever we have in the current path. So I think that's it. This will just work fine, I think. selected this, selected public, yep, public is there, selected index.html, great, it is working, selected public again, yep, it is collapsed and back, and selecting the src, replaced, great, styles.css, package.json, yep, the breadcrumbs are working fine, and inside component, yep, everything is working good. What we can do is we'll just remove the last slash here. So for that, where is this? Yeah, so inside breadcrumbs, we're gonna have to somehow we're gonna have to know if we are doing the end of the length, right? So this will be conditionally rendered if bc path dot, this is an array, remember, length is equal to I think length -1. Let's do -1 because length is always 1 greater than the last index, last available index inside an array. So I'll just say index. If it is equal to end, then don't display anything. If it is not equal to, then display the slash. I think we're missing question mark here. Yep. Let's see the UI. Yep, now the slash is not there. Clicking it. One more slash. No, there's no slash. Great, everything is working as expected. Yep, I think that is it, guys. The breadcrumbs are working, folder structure is working, expansion and collapse is working. So one quick thing we can do is we are showing the breadcrumbs, which is good, but we can show the selected, like current selected folder as highlighted one, right? So for that, we're gonna go here and there is a class name. So let me make it a string literal, and we can control the class name here, right? We have bc path. So what we'll do is we'll send the bc path also as all the way to the folder component, so that we can keep track of current bc path that is selected and current path that we have for a directory. So bc path is equal to the same value. Again, there is one more prop we'll have to handle. There is bc path is equal to bc path. Yep. So if the length of bc path, or yeah, I think that is it. If the length of bc path is equal to, not length, I think the last element. Let's take the last element inside the bc path. So bc path dot length -1, which gives us, or I'll just say take -1, which will return the last element. If this is equal to current path of last element, then this is the selected one, else it is not selected, right? Selected. Let's not do anything if it is not selected. Let's apply some CSS to the dot selected, background color something like aqua. Let's see. Clicked it. Oh my god, everything is selected. Let's inspect and try to see. Clear the console. This one subfolder is selected and this one is not selected, right? Why it is showing? There is no class name which is showing selected here. Why it is showing the color? Hmm. And inside this, there's no background. Let's see. Not selected. Where are the styles? Not selected. Background color transparent. Okay, reload. Wow. So I think the class name is not inserting for some reason. Let's see what's exactly wrong here. Hmm. We have the breadcrumbs path, right? And we have, okay, we're setting current path to the breadcrumbs path on click. Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm. Let's remote from here. Oh, Control X. I think this is where it has to be. Current path. Mm. Subfolder name. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Okay, so for some reason it's not working. I hope you got it right. So let me know. I'll try to come up with a solution, and I'll solve this and give you the solution in the next video. Or you can suggest me if anything that I'm doing wrong in this approach. Okay. Yep. I think that's great. We have solved all the required problems at least. We have displayed the structure. Um, so for now, I'll just remove these class styles. We have the folder structure. We have the clicks, expansions, and we have on clicking of the item. We're displaying the current selected directory as breadcrumbs. Great. So I think that is it. This was the question that has been asked in the Microsoft interview. I've recently attended this, and this was level 1 interview. And yeah, I'll keep on sharing all my interview experiences. Thank you.